So this lesson is going to be entirely about this card, the Five of Swords. I've talked about it before. The reason why I'm going to deal with it today is because it keeps coming up in my readings. It's troubling to me. I was doing a lot of readings at Christmas Eve at my sister's house, and I think everybody got the Five of Swords in some location. I've been getting the Five of Swords a lot. It's one of my least favorite tarot cards, and when a card that you don't really like or you don't understand well keeps coming up for you, it means that it's something that you've got to deal with in your life. It's some theme that is important for you at the time. And then once you actually deal with the card, you won't see it as much in your readings, and you'll really know what it means. And then you'll gain a deep appreciation for it because you'll be like, oh, I know what this means when this comes up in my life. So for whatever reason, this is what I'm dealing with right now. So I'm going to just jump right into it. A little side note on that. I did a video on masculine versus feminine energy. I've said it before, it's just about splitting into two. It's just two concepts. They're not really male and female concepts, but the concepts are being receptive and adaptable versus being forceful and sort of conquering, seeking solutions outside of the self versus seeking solutions inside of the self. We really need to use both energies in harmony in order to have truly fulfilling and complete lives. So if you are, I believe in detachment. Detachment is not a feminine thing to do. Detachment is just letting things come and go, letting things flow. It's not detachment if you are aggressively trying to ignore something. That's attachment. So in the spirit of detachment, because this keeps coming up for me, instead of trying to push it down, I'm just going to bring it up and deal right with it. Okay, so Five of Swords. What we have here is this man right here. You can see he's carrying two swords in this hand. He's carrying one sword down in this hand, and there's two on the ground. These are two people that he has defeated in a battle. These people are potentially his friends, potentially temporary enemies. But if you look, even though he's won, he's not looking ahead of himself. He's looking behind. He's looking at the people he's defeated. He is enjoying his victory a little bit too much. It's like being a sore winner. It's gloating. It's winning something at the cost of something else. And also, it's putting him at risk for what's coming ahead of him because he's not looking. He's too busy looking at what he's won to really see what's coming up ahead of him. He's got a couple of swords here balanced on his shoulder. He's got one in the ground. He's not really in a good stance. He's not really in a position to protect himself. He's actually leaving himself pretty open to attack right now, even though he's got three swords in his hand. So that is one of the people in this card. So if you're getting the Five of Swords, sometimes it points to gloating, to winning at something at the cost of something else. Sometimes you're this guy and you're not paying attention to what's coming because you're like, heh heh. You're like that guy on The Simpsons. You're like, heh heh, beat you. You're being sort of a bully. You're not paying attention. If you look too, there's a lot of clouds going on. It's a sort of a turbulent time. It's a cold area that they're in. There's not a lot to be won here. It's a bad time to be fighting. When it's cold, when there's snow, when there's ice, that's a time to go within. It's not a time to be, struggling. It's a time to conserve your energy. And, obviously he hasn't done that. But there's also two other people on this card, okay? So we have the two people that he has presumably defeated, okay? What do they have to say? And what's their perspective on what has happened? These are people who are in various stages of accepting their loss. We have this guy with his coat over his shoulder. He's also at risk here. He's not totally protecting himself because he's got his coat over his shoulder. And then we have this guy who might even be sort of really lamenting his loss. But there are various stages in accepting their loss. They have their back turned while this guy's probably saying something obnoxious. So it's about handling defeat. It's about walking away when somebody is gloating. It's about not participating in a regrettable battle, in a shameful act, in a stupid fight. So that's what the Five of Swords has to teach. I have said before that I find it really interesting that in my Light Seers deck, the Five of Swords is definitely facing the other direction. It's like if this was a picture, the camera is on the other side, and we're looking at the person who's been defeated. And of course, in this deck, I've told you before, we have crows instead of swords. Crows representing communication. Swords also represent communication. Here's the Five of Swords. You can see there's only one. It's this one guy. I don't know. It might be. Which one do you think he is? Is he this one or this one? Either way, probably he's this one. Because behind him, there's, his friend who's gloating, and here he is trying to cope with the loss. The crow is speaking to him here, saying, you suck, you weren't good enough, ha ha, you were tricked. Sometimes the Five of Swords represents somebody who played somebody or tricked somebody. This card might come up if you feel like you got played. Seven of Swords also comes up for that, but I think the Five of Swords more points to the emotional feelings about being played or playing somebody else. Whereas the Seven of Swords is more about designs, plans, less about the consequences of player type stuff or being played or playing somebody, and more about the plan to do so. And if you disagree with me, let me know. This is just how I'm interpreting the cards. But I feel like the way to look at this card, either way, is in the upright, you're going to take the message from the one person, and in the reverse, you're going to take the message from the other person. I feel that these cards are flipped. So in the upright, for this Five of Swords, I would say this is about accepting a loss gracefully, not letting your pride or bullying behavior sort of take you down. Or maybe that is what is going on, or the person that the reading is for, that is what is happening to them. And in the reverse, we would be looking at the shadow self in the back here who actually caused that. This also, what I really like about this right now, I'm beginning to show my appreciation for the Five of Swords, which is what this whole lesson is about, is for me to gain appreciation, is that it really does point to the cycle, that this is a cycle. So this guy becomes this guy, becomes this guy, becomes this guy, becomes this guy. If you're engaging in this kind of battle where it's like, ha, 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 you're always going to be like the winner of that or the loser of that. You switch back and forth, and you can see it all the time. I'm reminded right now of the Olympics, and I think it was the 2004 Olympics. Maybe it was, I don't know. It was the Winter Olympics. What happened was this snowboarder, she was so cool. She was a very cool snowboarder, but she was racing. And in the very end, she was like winning. And she was like, yeah. And she decided to do like a little showboat move. She decided to like do a little trick or something. And she wound up falling or, wiping out. And then the person who was in second place had an opportunity to like sneak up when she had a way big lead. I mean, she would have taken it, no question, and took the lead and actually took the gold. So she lost the gold because she decided to show off. And that's what's happening to this guy. I've always felt that that guy embodies that energy. He's showing off, and because he's showing off his win, he's about to become the loser. So it's a cycle. You go from this guy to this guy to this guy to this guy. How do you get yourself out of the cycle? Well, I think it's about learning to be a good sport, learning to take a loss without, needing to have revenge, or learning to take a win without needing to gloat. And I think that's what the Five of Swords is all about.